All right, Tuesday morning, 8 o'clock, actually 7:55. Got another pretty good size deck to resurface with composite. Gonna be using some Trex. This deck is 16 foot deep, 20 foot wide, one small little staircase. So I'll be putting, like I said, the Trex boards on it. I have to check my notes, but I'm pretty sure it's beach dune. I'm gonna do the picture frame on it. So it's gonna have 2 boards of beach dune around it, picture framed, and then saddle on the interior of it. And the steps, or let's call it right, the risers and the treads are gonna alternate between beach dune and saddle. And also gonna have aluminum handrails. I made a video, I don't know if it's been a year ago, but it's probably pretty close to it. But it's gonna be kind of like that one as far as the material, not the color, but the material. So it's gonna have aluminum handrails on it. Again, I have to check my notes. I think, yeah, the posts are gonna be 4-inch posts, so that's a big, good, beefy post. It's gonna look good. And a white handrail with bronze pickets. So again, it's gonna, gonna be some alternate colors and should look really good. So that's what I'm gonna be working on today, or this week actually. I'm assuming it's gonna take me about 5 days. I'm hoping that the rails, all the aluminum components, are here on time. They take a little longer. Oh, and there's also gonna be a gate that I have to put on for their little dog. And I won't put that on until after all the rails and all. I can't even order that yet because I want to make sure I get the right size, and I don't want to try to guess on that. So today's goal is to tear off everything, to tear off all the deck boards and the handrails, which shouldn't be a problem. I looked at the screws on it. They seem to be in good shape. I have worked on these decks before, and I don't know what they use. It's almost like sheetrock screws, or at least an interior screw, and every screw head was rusted out and had to pry every board up. But these seem to be okay. You never know until you get there, but that's what I'm working on. I'll do my best to film everything right, get as much in as I can, but I think that I'm gonna be by myself for the most part on this, so I'm not gonna film every single step. There's gonna be a lot of, this is what I'm fixing to do, and then when I get done, this is what I did. So just so you know what to expect. All right, here is the deck. Nothing out of the ordinary about it necessarily, but just going to take all these handrails down and all the deck boards down. Obviously the structure is going to stay, and we're just going to make it weatherproof. Now those 4x4s run all the way up and through there, so I'll end up probably cutting those off flush with the deck, because the aluminum rails bolt straight down to it. Good wide stairs, and not what, 3, 5 or so. Right here there will be a metal gate or aluminum gate right here, and this is the deck. It's not in bad shape at all. Oh, here's our colors, some samples I'd left for them: beach dune and saddle. Like I said, we're going to picture frame this thing all the way in. Now what I have noticed is this board, this outer band, it's raised. So my deck boards need to go down here, but then they would butt in to that. So I've got to decide what I'm gonna do there. There's a band here, and then just inside of there, there's another, I think this is like a 2x10, this is a 2x8. The one below is setting down, so these deck boards are sitting on it, and then you got this board. So I've got to figure out how I'm gonna work that. But Ain't nothing but a thing. I'll have to trim out around that gutter. But that's it. I'm gonna start knocking these boards down.
Look here, see, go in there like this. You see if you can just walk that dude on down there, and I'm gonna try to lift on this end. There you go.
All right, staying lower.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping to do, scoop going into the other.
You got tension on it?
A little bit. That is the ticket there, buddy. That's a whole lot of chiseling we didn't have to do.
A lot of chiseling going on. right, this is what we got. This board I talked about earlier, we took a chisel, drove it in there flush with this inner board, and it just split right on down through there. So that worked out really well. Looks like we missed one. So we'll have to get that. Posts are cut down. I took some screws and run. I think I mentioned this earlier, but the posts up there were not. It's okay for me to cut those off because these are just sitting. These are notched and sitting right on there. It had some bolts in here, but I took those out because I'm gonna put a piece of fascia board. But I put some screws in there, and again, this is sitting on top of this post, so we're good. So all the deck boards are up. That was, you know, I got 90% of the screws, but it don't take one to make that difficult, but got all that done. Posts are down. This outer board is off. I took it off because it was setting up. Got it off. Everything's ready to go. Tomorrow, I'll run some blocking through here because I am gonna picture frame this deck. I'll have to run one board through here and then picture frame a little bit, and I'll explain later why I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. But that's it so far. My biggest part of this day, or the whole day, was just stripping all the wood off. Left these treads in place so we'll have somewhere to walk. My material was supposed to be delivered. It did not get delivered today, so I'm gonna run over here to Lowe's and see if I can find out why, and I got to pick up some material. So, but that's why I had it delivered or ordered for today, because if it didn't show up or was late, it wouldn't hold me up. So hopefully it'll be here by tomorrow. It'll probably pull up as soon as I pull out. All right, back on the job. I can't remember where I left off at, but we're ready. We finally got the other material in. We got to take this board, these two boards, and all the way around off and put the beach dune color down. We just put these two down just so we can start running some boards. So the goal for today is to get the picture framing put in. You can see we had some blocking in here for this stuff to land on, and we're gonna need some more blocking probably in here, and over here. And I imagine when we turn this corner, we're gonna need a little bit. But we've been postponed for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, because of a screw up in the delivery. But we'll keep posted as much as possible. In the process of picture framing this deck. So what Connor and I are doing, I wanted to get a board running through here, but it's gonna land right on that 45 up under that rock. So I laid a board in. I don't know how much it is. You can see, Connor, so much glare. Made a couple of, will you hold, hold that in? Made a mark in here where it was hitting that angle up underneath. Pulled that back. I don't know if we can see this or not, but put my framing square on here and drew a straight line. And I knew I had a 45-degree angle coming through here. Put a 45 coming this way, and where these 2 points met, I went straight against. Put the square right there, made a straight line, and then cut out this stuff. We ended up with this, and when you helped me slide that in, and it worked out really nice. So that's going to be under there. That's going to be tied up against that, and that's how that corner is going to fit right in there. Then this will, the next board will go right up in here. All right, a little bit of an update on what we've got going on. I haven't been able to film a whole lot during this process. It's been pushing 100 degrees a day. I put my temperature gun on these deck boards earlier. Right now it's cooled way off, showing 87. When the sun was on here, it was showing 148 degrees. So it's just been miserable hot working on this deck. So we've just been trying to get on with it. But you can see we've got the picture frame boards on. That's beach dune color, saddle in the middle. Got those run all the way out here to the end. Got those edges mitered. And then just all the way down on the other end. Got that put in there. Now the step treads are still on just so we can get up and down. But we've got deck boards all the way in here. Now this took me some time to figure out exactly how I wanted to do this. But this is what I ended up with now. This board, I don't like the gap in there. So I'm gonna pull that board up and do better than that. I just don't like that. But everything else looks really good. Had to get it kind of notched in there. Now this was a piece of wood. I'm gonna take and put a piece of like a tread or I'm sorry, just a deck board, rip it down and put it in there. I didn't want to leave a piece of wood. I wish I could have videoed more, but there's a lot of blocking in here. There's a joist or a 2x6 running. You have to give these boards something to land on out here on the end. You can see the fastener in there. But normally these would just run out here and catch that outer band. But when you put this on all the way around, you got to do a lot of blocking and just work on that. So it takes a lot more time. It probably took a day just of preparing and putting down the picture framing. But anyway, I've got blocking running all the way through there. And then over here I had to put blocking every 16 inches to give that something to rest on. And then again, right here, there's, I don't know if you can see in there, but there's the joists are running this way. So I had to put a piece of blocking material in between the joists and an angle for these deck boards to give them something to land on. I got them locked in right here, but you don't want to just have them where they'll push up and down. Now this board still needs a screw. I don't know if you can see that, but it will go up and down. I just hadn't done that yet. I'll just gotta wait. I don't want to put any more screws in the surface than I have to. But that's where we are. Today was just blocking and more blocking. There's a board in there and through here. And that's after 5 on a Friday afternoon. So I'm calling it a day. It took me 30 minutes to clean up. But all I've got left on the deck treads is to fill in here. Now there's this gutter runs through here and catches that gutter down there. So this board will have to have a hole in it for the gutter to run right through it. So that's gonna take some time. I didn't want to get in that today. This is close to the end of the day. So I have to come back Monday morning. I am gonna work Memorial Day. I'm gonna finish this area right here, and then it'll be time to put the aluminum handrails in, which is very time consuming. At least for me, I don't do this every day. Where I get tangled up on time is these angled handrails. You got to get your angle right, but you got to keep your pickets running straight up and down and plumb. Let's see, we've also got the fascia boards. The fascia board has to be installed all the way around. Now that will be the last thing I do, and the reason for that is when I put these posts in here, they will get mounted directly to the surface, but I want to get some wood up underneath there so it has something to grab other than just deck boards that are, you know, one screw holding them in. And when I do that, I may end up having to shoot a nail through here. So I don't want to put my fascia board on and not be able to get nails in here, because when I put that fascia on, I want as few fasteners in it and things showing as possible. Something else worth noting, my knuckle is 1 inch. This board is overhanging 1.5 inches. I had to pre-plan that because you want some overhang here, and my fascia board is just over 1/2 inch, almost 3/4 of an inch. So that'll give me about 3/4 of an inch overhang all the way around. And I just like that look as far as having, if I could do this, if my finger is a board, I want my board underneath. I don't want my fascia board sitting there like that. I want it under, so anything that's on here will run off and just right straight to the ground. But I think that's all I can tell you or show you for now. Maybe I could get under here and can see all that extra blocking in there, and there's still more to come. That other side there's even more, just where the deck boards turn and all that stuff. I don't know of anything else to tell you for right now to keep you updated. I will try to get the camera out, and when we put those rails in on that side down there, I've got an idea of what I want to try. I want to put a couple clamps on the post, or even clamp a piece of wood to it so that the rails have something to sit on while I mark them, instead of just trying to hold mark or even measure and mark. I like holding them up there and marking them. But that's it. I done got to the point where I'm just rambling. I'm gonna cut this short, and we will be back Monday morning. All right, I imagine it's time for an update. Obviously, I've got all the boards down and started on the rails. This job kind of got postponed because of material. Got the wrong deck boards to start with. That was the distributor's fault. And then the rails, I ended up misunderstanding and got the wrong rails, but back in business now. I hope to finish up for the most part today. But getting these rails, and this is a wicker color with a bronze picket. It's really looking nice. Deck's dirty just from walking on it and everything else, but just a quick update. I don't know when the last time I made a video, but got the border all the way around, picture framed. I don't know if you can see the difference with the sun's shining, but it goes all the way back around and all the way picture framed. So where I'm at now is I got these sets of rails on. These angled rails took, just those two rails by themselves probably took 6 hours. It's just so hard to get the pieces in at the bottom. But I will put a link, a very easy way, or easier way than I've done it in the past, of how to line those up, make those measurements. But then after that, I've already cut my rails. I've got them sitting out in the yard. I cut those, you know, get my measurements, make those cuts. I've got these brackets put in. I had to measure up 34.5 inches, make those marks. So now I'm fixing to start putting the rest of the pickets in the rails, and I'll be ready to drop those in, secure them, and wrap it up. One of my posts, this one has a cap, and this piece at the bottom to cover the bolts. One post didn't have them in there, so I put it over here in the corner, and I've got that ordered. But the problem with these aluminum AFCO rails is it takes me 2 weeks to get them, and if you order too many, you can't take them back. So it's really a pain that they, number one, they won't take them back. Number two, it takes so long to get them. So it's just, and same with these deck boards. You order too many, you just get to eat them. You don't order enough, you gotta wait. I can get these in 3 days, so it's a little better, but still, it's just a game stopper, game ender, whatever, if you don't get it right. So anyway, I'm gonna move on. This ain't gonna be so much of a how-to video, because this job's going into the 6th week, I think. So I'm not gonna take the time to sit out here with the camera and all that. I'm trying to get finished up. I was out here last night till 9:30. But I'll check back in when I get these posts put in. All right, we are all done. This guy's fixing to fall off the ladder. All done. Turned out great. Got one piece of fascia board left. That board was damaged, so we're gonna get that in. And we got one cap, one trim piece to do. But that is it. Wicker rails, bronze pickets, beach dune fascia boards, beach dune picture frame, and saddle deck boards. Not gonna get up on the deck. Pop's already cleaned it. We'll walk over here though. All cleaned up, ready for summer.